There were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. Diana's heart-wrenching statement about her marriage with Charles was enough to show how complicated it was. Their royal relationship was plagued by jealousy, cheating, and tabloid attention relationship until it ended in divorce. Then Diana died a mere year after the official papers were signed. It must be said that there are few fairy tale endings that have ended as tragically as the one shared by Charles and Diana. Let's take a look back at the couple's entire scandalous marriage and Diana's hellish life at the royal family. Diana's upbringing and early experiences painted a complex picture of contrasts and challenges that would later shape her understanding of love, marriage, and royalty. At 19, she entered into her marriage with Prince Charles with a sense of readiness, albeit perhaps naive. The vast differences between her and Charles were not just evident in their backgrounds, but also in their personal experiences and expectations. Charles, a Cambridge graduate, hailed from a world of privilege and tradition, while Diana, who left school at 16, came from a more modest background. Their age gap, with Charles being 12 years her senior, created a dynamic reminiscent of her own parents' marriage. Her mother's unconventional choices, leaving her family for another man, left an indelible mark on Diana's understanding of relationships and commitment. The bitterness of her parents' divorce and the subsequent custody battle likely underscored Diana's longing for stability and family unity. Despite these challenges, her closeness to her sister Jane, who married into the royal court, provided a glimpse into the world of royalty, perhaps fostering Diana's idealized vision of her future. Diana's innocence and idealism, coupled with her lack of prior romantic experiences, set the stage for a collision with the complexities of Charles's personality and the demands of royal life. Her desire for a traditional family life with a husband and children clashed with the realities of a marriage steeped in tradition and duty. The stark contrast between Diana's upbringing and the royal world into which she married only intensified her struggles. Her idealized vision of marriage and family clashed with the pressures of public scrutiny, royal protocol, and Charles's own complicated history. Diana, from a kindergarten assistant in London to the center of royal attention, was marked by chance encounters, familial ties, and the relentless pursuit of the press. Despite her initial failures in school exams, Diana's magnetic personality and youthful exuberance caught the eye of Prince Charles during a pivotal moment at the Spencer family's ancestral home, Althorpe. Their first meeting, amidst Charles's courtship of Diana's sister Sarah, left an indelible impression on both parties. Charles, recalling Diana as a very jolly and amusing teenager, was charmed by her vivaciousness and zest for life. Diana, in turn, found herself drawn to Charles's charisma and presence, describing him as pretty amazing. The press, always hungry for royal news, quickly fixated on Diana during her brief courtship with Charles. Speculation ran rampant, with many convinced that she was destined to become the prince's bride. Previous contenders for Charles's affections, such as Davina Sheffield and Jane Wellesley, had fallen short for various reasons, leaving Diana as a fresh and intriguing prospect. Charles's own apprehensions and the weight of royal expectations added layers of complexity to their budding relationship. His reluctance to initiate romantic pursuits due to fears of besmirching the family's reputation meant that Diana, with her boldness and assertiveness, stood out among other potential suitors. As one commentator noted, any woman capable of grabbing him by the scruff of the neck held a distinct advantage. Charles's affinity for sports like hunting, skiing, and polo not only defined his leisure activities but also shaped his social circle. Among his select group of friends who shared his passion for these pursuits, one woman would come to occupy a significant place in his life: Camilla. Their initial encounter occurred within the backdrop of the polo fields around Windsor, where Charles and his friends often gathered. Camilla, then dating one of Charles's closest companions, stood out not for her noble lineage, but for her down-to-earth demeanor and undeniable allure. Despite not being considered noble enough to marry a prince in the traditional sense, Camilla possessed a certain authenticity and earthiness that captivated Charles. Amidst a sea of women vying for his attention and affection, Charles was drawn to those who defied convention and embraced their individuality. Camilla's unconventional appearance, jeans held together with a safety pin, and tousled hair only added to her magnetic appeal. In a world where expectations and appearances often dictated social interactions, Camilla's genuine nature and unique style set her apart. The narrative of Charles's romantic entanglements, particularly with Camilla Shand, weaves a complex tapestry of duty, desire, and societal expectations. As Charles's naval career called him away from the shores of England, his brief liaison with Camilla was interrupted, paving the way for her to rekindle her relationship with Army officer Andrew Parker Bowles, culminating in their marriage in 1973. Andrew Parker Bowles, described as a highly attractive and sought-after figure in high society, held a prominent place in Camilla's affections long before Charles re-entered the picture. Their intermittent courtship spanned 6 years, characterized by Camilla's determined pursuit of Andrew, rumored to be the epitome of romantic prowess in London circles. Camilla's relentless efforts to secure Andrew's commitment underscored her understanding of the limitations placed upon her by societal norms and expectations. Despite her undeniable connection with Charles, Camilla recognized the insurmountable obstacles to a union with the Prince of Wales. Her lack of virginity, coupled with her perceived lack of aristocratic pedigree and photogenic qualities, made her an unlikely candidate for the role of Charles's wife in the eyes of royal courtiers. Aware of these realities, Camilla championed the cause of the innocent Diana, hoping to preserve her own relationship with Charles while ensuring that he found a suitable bride who could meet the stringent criteria set forth by the royal establishment. The stark contrast between Charles's and Diana's feelings, as evidenced in their engagement interview, speaks volumes about the complexities of their relationship. While Charles expressed amazement at Diana's willingness to take on the challenges of marrying into the royal family, his sentiments regarding love appeared somewhat detached and ambiguous. In contrast, Diana's unwavering devotion to Charles was palpable, highlighting her naivety and idealism in the face of the impending realities of royal life. As Diana and Charles were engaged, they embarked on what could be termed a royal roadshow, attending various events and engagements together. Despite her initial nerves, Diana quickly found her footing, particularly when interacting with children, where her natural warmth and charm shone through. However, Diana's first misstep on the royal stage came with a seemingly innocuous choice of attire. For a music recital at Goldsmiths Hall in London, she opted for a strapless, low-cut gown in black, a choice that would later be criticized for being too daring and inappropriate for her new royal status. Diana, at the age of 19, saw the dress as sophisticated and mature, unaware of the strict protocols surrounding royal fashion. The dress's revealing nature, combined with its black color, which is traditionally reserved for mourning in royal circles, sparked controversy and disapproval. The photographer's angles only exacerbated the situation, turning what Diana thought was a glamorous ensemble fit for a film star into an ill-fated fashion faux pas for a future queen. Princess Grace of Monaco, herself a seasoned royal figure, offered a light-hearted but prescient warning to Diana. "Don't worry, dear. It'll get a lot worse." This playful remark hinted at the challenges and scrutiny that lay ahead for Diana as she navigated her new role within the royal family. While Princess Margaret extended a helping hand and offered practical advice to Diana, such as where to place her handbag and how to exit gracefully, overall, Diana received little guidance or support from her husband's family. Expected to adapt and learn on her own, Diana faced a steep learning curve as she stepped into the spotlight as Prince Charles's fiancée, and soon after, as the Princess of Wales. In the lead-up to the royal wedding, Diana found herself grappling with a myriad of emotions, including jealousy, uncertainty, and a growing sense of isolation. Her unease was compounded by the looming presence of Camilla and the lack of clear guidance or support from within the royal establishment. Diana's feelings of jealousy towards Camilla were understandable, given the history between Camilla and Charles. As their wedding day approached, Diana couldn't shake the nagging doubt that she was merely a pawn in a larger game, a sentiment exacerbated by the lack of clarity surrounding her role as the Princess of Wales. Unlike the Germanic House of Windsor, which represented a relatively recent addition to the British monarchy, the Spencers boasted a proud and noble lineage deeply rooted in the English aristocracy. Diana's mother, Frances, had attempted to caution her daughter against marrying Charles's royal position rather than the man himself, an admonition that resonated with the Spencers' sense of English identity and aristocratic pride. The juxtaposition between the Spencers' English aristocracy and the perceived middle-class origins of the House of Windsor underscored a long-standing aristocratic view of the monarchy. Despite the Windsors' royal status, they were regarded by some as lacking in true aristocratic pedigree, a sentiment that may have influenced Diana's own perceptions and contributed to her feelings of unease and uncertainty. The lead-up to Diana's wedding to Prince Charles was fraught with emotional turmoil, with the specter of Camilla looming large over the proceedings. Despite the grandeur of the occasion, Diana's heart was heavy with apprehension and doubt. Just days before the wedding, she grappled with the decision to call it off, consumed by her fears regarding Charles's relationship with Camilla. As she walked down the aisle of St. Paul's Cathedral on her wedding day, the sight of Camilla among the congregation cast a shadow over the proceedings. In that moment, Diana realized that Camilla would become more than just a rival. She would become a constant presence, a third person in her marriage to Charles. Although swept up in the pomp and circumstance of the royal wedding, Diana clung to the hope that Camilla was a relic of the past, a fleeting memory overshadowed by the promise of her future with Charles. However, even as the newlyweds departed for their honeymoon, reminders of Camilla's influence lingered. Leading the official escort group was none other than Camilla's husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, a longtime friend of Princess Anne and a respected figure within the royal court. Despite his wife's affair with Charles, Andrew remained firmly entrenched in the gilded circle of aristocracy, a testament to the complexities and contradictions of royal relationships. Years later, as speculation and rumors swirled about the true nature of Charles and Camilla's relationship, some would jest that Andrew had sacrificed his wife for the good of the country by turning a blind eye to her affair with the Prince of Wales. The complexities of Diana's marriage to Prince Charles were underscored by her awareness of his ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. Despite her determination to win Charles's affection, Diana was acutely aware of her role as his mistress, a position she believed she could maintain even after marrying Andrew Parker Bowles. During their honeymoon aboard the royal yacht Britannia, Diana's hopes for a blissful union were shattered when she discovered tangible evidence of Camilla's hold over Charles. Uncovering photographs and a gift of cufflinks engraved with their initials, Diana realized the depth of her husband's connection to his former lover. As the honeymoon continued in Scotland, Diana's suspicions and insecurities grew. Despite her efforts to trust Charles, she couldn't shake the feeling that he remained emotionally entangled with Camilla. Diana's heightened intuition, described as extrasensory perception, allowed her to sense the presence of Charles and Camilla's relationship, even when they weren't physically together. The night before their royal wedding, while Diana may not have been consciously aware of Charles and Camilla's encounter at Buckingham Palace, she intuitively sensed their continued communication and emotional attachment. This lingering connection, evidenced by Camilla's knowledge of Diana's movements and the couple's ongoing dialogue, fueled Diana's desperate hope that the act of consummating their marriage would somehow eclipse Charles's feelings for Camilla. As Diana and Charles presented a united front to the press during their time at the Queen's estate, Balmoral, behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to show in their relationship. Diana's struggle with bulimia, an eating disorder she attributed to the looming presence of Camilla in her marriage, remained hidden from the public eye. The specter of Camilla casts a long shadow over Diana's psyche, exacerbating her insecurities and intensifying her feelings of inadequacy. As Diana grappled with her own inner demons, her ability to connect with Charles faltered, leading to a growing sense of distance between them. Diana's perception of herself in comparison to Camilla only served to deepen her sense of inferiority. While Diana possessed undeniable beauty, her allure may not have extended to the realm of overt sexuality. In contrast, Camilla exuded a sense of make-love power and confidence that Diana struggled to match. It was a painful realization for Diana that her appeal to Charles may not have been rooted in overt sexuality, but rather in other qualities she possessed. This added to her feelings of frustration and self-doubt as she grappled with the daunting task of competing with an older, more experienced rival for her husband's affections. The birth of William and Harry, while joyous occasions on the surface, did little to mend the fractured relationship between Diana and Charles. Despite Diana's yearning for a happy family unit, the reality was far from idyllic. During a holiday with the Spanish royal family in Majorca in 1986, Diana struggled in silence with her battle against bulimia, while Charles's early departure back to Camilla only deepened her sense of isolation and despair. Diana harbored a secret longing for a daughter to complete her family, but after Harry's birth, she realized that her hopes for a harmonious marriage were all but dashed. The strain in their relationship had become untenable, and Diana's desire for a daughter felt like an unattainable dream in the midst of their marital discord. Despite the mounting tension and disillusionment, an uneasy truce settled between Charles and Diana for a time. Charles continued his relationship with Camilla, while Diana discreetly pursued her own affairs, all the while maintaining a facade of support for her husband in public. In 1990, when Charles broke his arm during a polo match, Diana stepped into the role of the caring wife, dutifully collecting him from the hospital. However, behind closed doors, their interactions belied the facade of marital harmony. Once out of sight, they went their separate ways, highlighting the disintegration of their relationship despite outward appearances. By the time Prince Harry was born, the cracks in Charles and Diana's marriage had widened into chasms of disillusionment and discord. The palpable coolness between the couple did not escape public notice, with the press meticulously counting their time spent apart. Faced with mounting speculation and scrutiny, Charles and Diana found themselves compelled to maintain a facade of unity in public appearances, despite the growing strain in their relationship. As the marriage deteriorated, Diana's frustration and sense of powerlessness drove her to adopt increasingly manipulative tactics to regain control and assert her voice. Feeling sidelined and marginalized within the royal establishment, Diana recognized that her only recourse was to seize the spotlight and promote her own interests, a strategy at which she proved remarkably adept. In the early years of their marriage, Charles and Diana appeared to function as a cohesive team, with Diana's radiant beauty captivating audiences worldwide. Charles initially took pride in his wife's charisma and popularity, but as her star rose, his own insecurities and jealousy began to surface. Diana, keenly aware of the power of her public image, skillfully wielded her influence to convey her discontent with Charles, employing subtle gestures such as a strategically timed missed kiss to signal her displeasure. The once promising union between Charles and Diana descended into a tumultuous cycle of resentment and recrimination. Despite their initial love for each other, Charles's admission that there was a time when they were very much in love serves as a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of their happiness. As the marriage unraveled, both parties found themselves trapped in a web of regret and disillusionment, their once bright future overshadowed by the bitter realities of their fractured relationship. Camilla's re-entry into Charles's life in the mid-1980s marked a turning point in their relationship, coinciding with Charles's assertion that his marriage to Diana had irreparably broken down. Their secret affair provided solace for Charles's fragile ego, with Camilla assuming the role of both lover and confidant, known only to a select circle of trusted friends. What set Camilla apart was the veil of secrecy that surrounded her, shielding their affair from public scrutiny. While those closest to Charles were aware of his relationship with Camilla, the press remained oblivious to the extent of their intimacy. For years, Charles clandestinely maintained his adulterous liaison with a woman he deeply loved, shielded from the prying eyes of the media. However, Diana's growing suspicion and resentment towards Camilla threatened to unravel the carefully guarded secret. With carefully planted stories in the press painting Camilla in a negative light, the media soon caught wind of the affair. Camilla found herself relentlessly pursued by photographers, her privacy invaded, and her every move scrutinized. The relationship was thrust into the spotlight when a tape of a private phone conversation between Charles and Camilla, dubbed Camillagate, was leaked to the public in January 1993, just a month after Charles and Diana's official separation. The contents of the tape laid bare the depth of intimacy between the lovers, confirming Diana's worst suspicions in embarrassing detail. The publication of Camillagate not only exposed the true nature of Charles and Camilla's relationship, but also served as a catalyst for the unraveling of Charles and Diana's marriage. The revelation of the lovers' intimate conversations cast a shadow over Charles's public image and further fueled Diana's feelings of betrayal and indignation. Diana's reaction to the revelation of Camillagate was complex and multifaceted. On one hand, she found a sense of vindication and satisfaction in exposing Charles's hypocrisy and the depth of his involvement with Camilla. For Diana, who had long felt marginalized and belittled within her marriage, the exposure of Charles's affair served as a moment of triumph, a chance to turn the tables on her husband and reclaim a sense of agency and power. Diana's delight in sharing excerpts from the Camillagate tapes with friends and confidants, including over breakfast at Kensington Palace, underscored her sense of vindication and righteous indignation. To see Charles, the epitome of pomp and authority, brought low by his own words and actions, brought her a sense of satisfaction and amusement. Furthermore, Diana's beauty, charisma, and public persona as the wronged wife garnered widespread sympathy and support from both the public and members of the royal family, including Prince Philip. His letter to Diana expressing disbelief at anyone choosing Camilla over her further validated her position as the aggrieved party in the eyes of many. However, beneath the surface of Diana's public persona as the wronged wife lay a more complicated reality. While she reveled in Charles's embarrassment and Camilla's public scrutiny, Diana harbored her own secrets, engaging in a series of ill-judged affairs that would later come to light. Diana's first extramarital affair, which occurred in 1986, was with her married bodyguard, Barry Manickey. As her marriage to Charles began to unravel, Diana sought solace and companionship from the man who was often by her side, providing protection and support. Their relationship extended beyond the professional realm, blurring the lines between duty and personal connection. While Diana confided in some individuals about the nature of her relationship with Manickey, she vehemently denied the affair to others. In her own words, she maintained that they shared a good relationship, though the extent of their involvement remained a subject of speculation and rumor. Manickey's dismissal from his position as Diana's bodyguard was ostensibly due to allegations of overfamiliarity, a breach of professional conduct that violated the strict boundaries between royalty and commoners. Despite Diana's denial of a romantic relationship with Manaki, the perception of impropriety surrounding their interactions persisted, fueled by the whispers and gossip of those within the royal household. Crucially, Maniki's perceived transgressions against the established social hierarchy may have contributed to his downfall. His apparent ability to breach the invisible barriers separating the aristocracy from the commoners stirred resentment and envy among the staff, leading to his eventual dismissal. The affair with Manaki marked a significant turning point in Diana's personal life, signaling her growing disillusionment with her marriage and her search for emotional fulfillment outside the confines of royal protocol. Yet, it also exposed the vulnerabilities and complexities inherent in Diana's position as a member of the royal family, a woman torn between duty and desire, tradition and modernity, whose quest for love and connection would ultimately lead her down a tumultuous path of heartache and scandal. Despite the turbulence within their marriage, Charles and Diana maintained a facade of unity and duty at the official level, representing the Queen and the country on numerous diplomatic visits abroad. Their polished appearances, such as during their visit to Japan in 1989, belied the tumultuous reality of their private lives. While outwardly fulfilling their royal obligations, Diana found solace and passion in a clandestine affair with cavalry officer James Hewitt. Their relationship flourished in the privacy of Hewitt's family home in Devon, where Diana experienced a semblance of normalcy and domesticity away from the scrutiny of the public eye. Diana's bodyguard, Ken Worf, witnessed firsthand the private moments shared between Diana and Hewitt. Despite his role in protecting her, Worf acknowledged the necessity for Diana to have moments of respite and intimacy away from the demands of her royal duties. For Diana, the sanctuary of her relationship with Hewitt provided a reprieve from the pressures and expectations of royal life, offering her a sense of comfort and stability during a time of profound unhappiness and depression. Hewitt's presence in Diana's life served as a source of emotional support and reassurance, helping to alleviate her feelings of isolation and despair. His calm demeanor and unwavering affection provided Diana with a lifeline during her darkest moments, offering her a glimpse of the normalcy and tenderness that had long eluded her within the confines of her royal marriage. Diana's admission of her affair with James Hewitt during an interview with the program Panorama marked a significant moment of public disclosure and personal reckoning. In her candid confession, Diana acknowledged the depth of her feelings for Hewitt, admitting to a romantic involvement that extended beyond mere friendship. Despite the intensity of their connection, Diana made the difficult decision to end the relationship twice. The first break occurred when Hewitt, as a serving soldier, was ordered to Germany. Diana, desperate to maintain their bond, attempted to intervene and prevent his deployment. However, Hewitt, committed to his duty, refused her interference, leading to a sense of betrayal on Diana's part and the subsequent termination of their relationship. The second breakup occurred in the aftermath of the Gulf War, prompted by the growing scrutiny and speculation surrounding their affair in the media. Aware of the potential consequences of their association becoming public knowledge, Diana realized the danger of their continued involvement and made the painful choice to sever ties with Hewitt once again. For Diana, the decision to end her relationship with Hewitt was driven by a combination of factors, including fears of exposure and the desire to protect both herself and Hewitt from the repercussions of their affair becoming public knowledge. Despite the depth of her affection for him, Diana recognized the inherent risks and sacrifices involved in maintaining their relationship amidst the scrutiny and pressures of royal life. The dynamics of Charles and Diana's marriage took a significant toll on both parties, with Charles viewing Diana more as a burden than a beloved partner. While Diana saw Charles as a conquest, a status symbol of sorts, Charles himself admitted to feeling suffocated by the demands of their marriage. His cavalier attitude towards their relationship, characterized by remarks such as, "I'm only good at two things, riding horses and riding women, underscored his detachment and disinterest in fostering genuine emotional intimacy with Diana. However, amidst the turmoil of their marriage, Charles did offer some semblance of support and comfort to Diana during her darkest moments, such as the death of her father in March 1992. Despite his superficial gestures of care, the growing chasm between them became increasingly apparent, with Charles feeling obligated to maintain appearances for the sake of his public image. The emergence of James Hewitt as a romantic interest for Diana provided a convenient distraction for Charles, allowing him to distance himself from Diana and pursue his own desires, notably his relationship with Camilla. Charles likely saw Diana's involvement with Hewitt as a means of alleviating the strain and tension within their marriage, freeing him to pursue his own interests without the burden of Diana's emotional needs weighing him down. For Charles, Diana's happiness and occupation with Hewitt served as a welcome relief, allowing him to navigate his own affairs without the inconvenience of Diana's presence. While he may have felt a sense of obligation towards Diana as his wife, his feelings towards her had long since waned, and he saw her as little more than a hindrance to his pursuit of personal fulfillment and happiness. The conclusion of Diana's affair with James Hewitt marked a turning point in her tumultuous relationship with Charles, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in their dynamic. Seeking retribution for the perceived betrayal and heartache she endured, Diana embarked on a path of vengeance, collaborating with author Andrew Morton on a sensational biography that laid bare the realities of her marriage to Charles. Despite feigning ignorance of her involvement in the biography, Diana continued to fulfill her royal duties with grace and poise, as evidenced by her heartfelt visits to hospices and other charitable endeavors. However, behind the scenes, she was orchestrating a calculated expose of her marriage, determined to shatter the illusion of the fairy tale romance that had long captivated the public's imagination. The publication of the Morton book, aptly titled Diana, Her True Story, sent shockwaves through the monarchy, stripping away the veneer of glamour and romance to reveal the harsh realities of Charles and Diana's troubled union. Diana's decision to lift the veil on her personal struggles and marital woes exposed the monarchy to unprecedented scrutiny, forever altering the public's perception of the royal family. However, the aftermath of the book's publication brought unexpected consequences for Diana. While her adoring public rallied behind her, offering sympathy and support, the establishment rallied around Charles, casting Diana as the instigator of discord within the royal household. The revelation of her collaboration with Morton was a misstep that Diana soon came to regret, as it exposed her to criticism and backlash from those within the upper echelons of society. Diana's troubles only deepened when a tape of a private phone conversation between her and James Gilby, an old friend, was mysteriously leaked to the media, dubbed Dianagate or Squidgygate. The tape laid bare Diana's candid expressions of vulnerability and longing, further tarnishing her public image and subjecting her to prurient scrutiny. The facade of royal splendor masked deep-seated personal turmoil within Charles and Diana's marriage. Behind closed doors, Diana grappled with profound unhappiness, exacerbated by a sense of betrayal and isolation from her husband's inner circle. She harbored a deep mistrust towards Charles's staff, whom she viewed as adversaries intent on undermining her reputation and sanity. Diana attributed much of her marital strife to the meddling influence of Charles's friends, whom she believed not only condoned his affair with Camilla, but actively facilitated their clandestine rendezvous. She lamented their failure to intervene and salvage the royal marriage, condemning their complicity in its demise. Their indifference to her plight and willingness to spread rumors of her mental instability further fueled Diana's sense of disillusionment and resentment. Despite her own indiscretions, including a rumored liaison with rugby player Will Carling, Diana felt unfairly vilified by both the public and the royal establishment. The revelation of her association with Carling particularly their alleged trysts at a beach hut owned by the royal family, added another layer of scandal to her already tumultuous public image. The perception of Diana engaging in extramarital affairs only served to deepen the rift between her and Charles, further eroding the fragile foundation of their marriage. For Charles, the realization that his wife was involved with another man, particularly someone of high social standing like Carling, compounded his own feelings of betrayal and disillusionment. Despite his own extramarital indiscretions, including his well-known affair with Camilla, Charles struggled to reconcile his expectations of fidelity with Diana's actions. The double standard inherent in Charles's reaction to Diana's infidelities underscored the deeply ingrained patriarchal norms within the royal family, where male indiscretions were often tolerated or overlooked, while female transgressions were met with harsh judgment and condemnation. Amid the disintegration of her marriage to Charles, Diana embarked on a quest for sympathy and companionship, employing subtle gestures to convey her sense of isolation and longing for love. One of the most iconic symbols of her solitude was her visit to the Taj Mahal, where she posed for a poignant photograph that captured the world's attention and served as a powerful statement of her emotional state. However, Diana's search for love was marred by controversy and scandal, tarnishing her reputation in the eyes of the public. Her affair with the dashing art dealer Oliver Hoare captivated headlines but ended in heartbreak when Hoare chose to remain with his wife and family. Diana's reaction to Hoare's decision was characterized by a series of silent phone calls to his home, reflecting her desperation and emotional turmoil. The complexities of Diana's romantic entanglements were further compounded by the fact that Hoare was a close friend of both Charles and Camilla, adding another layer of intrigue to their already fraught relationship. Despite the disappointment of her failed romance with Hoare, Diana continued to seek solace and validation in the arms of other men, using her relationships as a means of both pursuing love and provoking Charles. One of Diana's most notable acts of defiance came on the night Charles confessed to adultery with Camilla in a televised interview with biographer Jonathan Dimbleby. As Charles faced public scrutiny for his infidelity, Diana deliberately upstaged him by donning a stunning dress that captivated audiences and reaffirmed her status as a fashion icon. The War of the Waleses persisted, with Diana's actions serving as a calculated response to Charles's betrayal. Despite her tumultuous love life and public skirmishes with Charles, Diana harbored genuine affection for Pakistan-born heart surgeon Hasnat Khan. Known affectionately as Natty, Khan captured Diana's heart with his intellect and compassion. Diana's desire to marry Khan reflected her longing for a stable and fulfilling relationship, free from the constraints and scandals of her royal marriage. However, despite her admiration for Khan's intellect and compassion, she was met with coldness and distance in their interactions. While she found solace in watching him work at Brompton Hospital and meeting him discreetly at night, Khan made it clear that he did not see her as a potential wife. This rejection stung Diana deeply, exacerbating her feelings of loneliness and inadequacy. She was incredulous that Khan could remain indifferent to her charms, and his aloofness only fueled her determination to win his affection. For Diana, being seen on the arm of someone who could provoke jealousy in her husband became a form of rebellion, a way to assert her independence and challenge the constraints of her royal marriage. In her pursuit of love and validation, Diana often gravitated towards men who were available rather than ideal long-term partners. While her choice of companions may have raised eyebrows, it was driven more by her desperate search for happiness and fulfillment than by any particular compatibility with her suitors. Each relationship represented a temporary respite from her unhappiness, a fleeting escape from the pressures of royal life and the scrutiny of the public eye. Like many individuals facing personal turmoil, Diana sought solace and guidance in various forms, including visits to fortune tellers and seeking out relationships with new partners. These actions were born out of a deep-seated desire for answers, for a way out of her unhappiness, and for anything that could offer her a glimmer of hope in an otherwise tumultuous existence. The photographs of Charles and Camilla on holiday together in Turkey in 1989 provided tangible evidence of their affair, corroborating Diana's suspicions and validating her feelings of betrayal. Despite her confrontations with Camilla, including a memorable encounter at a private party where Diana directly challenged her over her relationship with Charles, nothing seemed to change. Camilla remained a constant presence in Charles's life, sharing intimate moments with him on trips to Florence and even visiting a house once owned by her great-grandmother, Alice Keppel, who famously had a relationship with King Edward VII. However, Camilla was not Charles's only confidant outside the royal circle. Lady Tryon, affectionately known as Kanga, also held a special place in Charles's life. Their friendship provided him with a trusted sounding board, someone he could turn to for advice and support outside the constraints of royal protocol. Lady Tryon's boutique in London bore the same nickname, reflecting the close bond she shared with Charles. Her untimely death, shortly after Diana's own passing, marked the end of an era and underscored the complexities of Charles's relationships outside of his marriage. Despite the counsel he received from Lady Tryon and others, Charles's actions often seemed at odds with the advice he sought. His inability to heed warnings and make decisive choices only exacerbated the tensions within his marriage and fueled Diana's sense of frustration and disillusionment. Diana's approach to decision-making revealed her inclusive and collaborative nature as she sought input from various individuals in her inner circle, including her private secretary and even ordinary staff like Ken Worf, her police bodyguard. Worf, who spent considerable time with Diana during her solo tour of Egypt, recounted moments where she openly sought his opinion and even expressed a desire for her true character to be known in the event of any unfortunate circumstances. Throughout her interactions with those around her, Diana demonstrated a willingness to listen and consider alternative perspectives. She didn't hesitate to engage in discussions and brainstorming sessions, frequently asking for advice and feedback on matters both significant and mundane. Worf recalled how Diana would often turn to him, asking for his thoughts on various decisions she faced. This willingness to seek counsel from individuals across all levels of her staff showcased her humility and respect for the diverse experiences and insights of those around her. Diana's inclusive approach extended beyond her immediate circle of advisors to include individuals like her chef, dresser, and chauffeur. She valued their opinions and contributions, recognizing that everyone had a unique perspective to offer. By fostering an environment where ideas could be freely exchanged and knowledge shared, Diana created a sense of camaraderie and teamwork among her staff. Ultimately, Diana's collaborative approach to decision-making reflected her commitment to inclusivity and her belief in the importance of collective wisdom. By soliciting input from a diverse range of individuals, she not only empowered those around her but also ensured that her decisions were informed by a broad spectrum of perspectives. Accompanied by her trusted bodyguard Ken Worf, Princess Diana embarked on a poignant journey to Nepal in 1993, representing the Red Cross and the leprosy mission. Despite her official separation from Prince Charles, Diana remained deeply committed to her humanitarian endeavors, leveraging her unique ability to connect with people from all walks of life. Diana possessed an innate gift for communication that transcended social and political boundaries. Unlike many other royals who underwent formal training, Diana's remarkable ability to engage with individuals across diverse spectrums was a natural talent. She had an uncanny knack for understanding and empathizing with people, regardless of their backgrounds or circumstances. During her visit to Nepal, Diana demonstrated her unparalleled capacity to connect with those who were suffering, particularly leprosy patients. Her interactions with them went beyond mere gestures of sympathy. They were marked by genuine compassion and understanding. By embracing leprosy patients and breaking down the stigma associated with the disease, Diana continued her mission of destigmatizing illnesses, much like she had done previously with AIDS sufferers. This ability to touch the lives of the marginalized and disenfranchised was one of Diana's most significant achievements. She didn't just fulfill her royal duties, she embraced them with a sense of purpose and dedication that set her apart. Diana's profound impact on those she encountered during her charitable work echoed the legacy of her grandmother Cynthia Spencer, who shared Diana's passion for philanthropy and was similarly beloved for her charitable endeavors. For Diana, her role as a humanitarian was more than just fulfilling royal obligations. It was a calling deeply ingrained in her sense of destiny. From a young age, Diana recognized her innate gift for connecting with others and felt a profound sense of responsibility to use her platform for the betterment of society. In Nepal and beyond, Diana's unwavering commitment to compassion and service left an indelible mark on the world and cemented her legacy as the people's princess. However, Diana's fairy tale allure couldn't shield her from the realities of the royal family. While she captivated the public with her charm and compassion, behind the scenes, her marriage to Prince Charles was unraveling. This tension was palpable during their tour of South Korea in November 1992, where their strained expressions and distant body language earned them the nickname the Glums. The announcement of their separation, which came just weeks after the South Korea tour, signaled the beginning of the end for their tumultuous union. Buckingham Palace confirmed the news with a statement expressing regret over the decision made by the Prince and Princess of Wales. Despite briefly appearing at Sandringham for Christmas, Diana's life as a semi-detached royal became increasingly untenable. She made efforts to scale down her public engagements in the following months, expressing a desire to find a balance between her public role and a more private life. However, Diana's attempts to retreat from the public eye were thwarted by relentless press intrusion. The paparazzi, relentless in their pursuit of sensational stories, targeted her every move. Even her visits to the gym became fodder for tabloid headlines, with photographers incessantly trailing her. Dismissing her police bodyguards only exacerbated the situation, leaving Diana vulnerable to the intrusive tactics of the paparazzi. Diana's life became a relentless battleground against the intrusive tactics of the paparazzi, who were driven by the lucrative business of capturing her every move. The photographers were motivated by profit, with newspapers willing to pay exorbitant sums for exclusive photographs of the beloved princess. This insatiable demand for images of Diana fueled a culture of relentless pursuit, with paparazzi resorting to aggressive and invasive tactics to capture the perfect shot. One particularly egregious incident involved Diana being chased among cars by paparazzi after a visit to her therapist, Susie Orbach. The relentless pursuit and intrusion into her private moments deeply troubled Diana, who often attempted to shield herself from the photographer's lenses. However, her efforts to evade their attention only seemed to provoke them further, with some paparazzi resorting to disrespectful and abusive behavior. In one shocking instance, a Spanish photographer shouted derogatory remarks at Diana, demanding that she behave like an expletive princess. Such incidents underscored the relentless harassment and lack of respect Diana endured from the paparazzi, who seemed indifferent to her right to privacy and dignity. Even during her attempts to enjoy a Caribbean holiday with a female friend, Diana found herself surrounded by photographers, robbing her of the peace and relaxation she sought. Despite her efforts to find solace among friends, Diana's struggles with isolation and the relentless media scrutiny took a toll on her mental and emotional well-being. In times of intense pressure, Diana found support from a close circle of female confidants, who offered her comfort and companionship amidst the turmoil. However, the overwhelming challenges she faced, including a failing marriage, constant media intrusion, and betrayals in her personal life, left her feeling trapped in a suffocating reality where she was perpetually scrutinized and exploited. Camilla Parker Bowles, despite enduring intense media scrutiny, demonstrated resilience and stoicism in the face of public attention that contrasted with Diana's more vulnerable demeanor. Unlike Diana, Camilla adopted a more assertive approach to dealing with the press, displaying a level of composure and confidence that allowed her to navigate the relentless scrutiny more effectively. In contrast to Diana's openness about her personal struggles and grievances, Camilla tended to maintain a more private and guarded stance, rarely allowing the media to glimpse the inner workings of her personal life. Her ability to handle the media circus surrounding her affair with Prince Charles with relative poise earned her a reputation for resilience under pressure. The dynamics of Charles and Diana's tumultuous marriage were further highlighted when Diana participated in the televised interview for Panorama. In a candid moment, Diana famously remarked, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," alluding to Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla as a significant factor in the breakdown of their marriage. Diana's public criticism of Charles and her questioning of his suitability for kingship added fuel to the already intense media speculation surrounding the royal couple. The Queen, faced with the unenviable task of managing the royal family's public image amid the escalating tensions, was compelled to intervene and address the situation. Despite Diana's expressed desire to avoid divorce, the Queen recognized the need for resolution and clarity in the midst of the protracted marital crisis. Her decision to intervene and facilitate discussions about the future direction of Charles and Diana's marriage reflected a pragmatic approach aimed at addressing the ongoing turmoil within the royal family. The aftermath of Princess Diana and Prince Charles's divorce marked a significant turning point in Diana's life, as she transitioned from being a member of the royal family to a public figure in her own right. While Diana remained immensely popular with the public, receiving adoration from crowds wherever she went, her divorce meant the loss of her prestigious title of Her Royal Highness, HRH, and many of the privileges associated with royalty. The Queen's decision to support the divorce, despite its unpopularity among certain circles, was deemed necessary to address the escalating tensions within the royal family and to mitigate the negative impact on the monarchy's public image. The divorce marked the culmination of the bitter conflict between Charles and Diana, which had deeply polarized the country, with public opinion divided between those who sympathized with Diana and those who supported Charles. Following the divorce, Diana found herself navigating a new reality without the support of the palace's intricate machinery to manage her affairs. Instead, she relied heavily on the assistance of her close friends to navigate the complexities of her post-royal life. Despite receiving a substantial financial settlement of $17 million, the loss of her royal status was a profound blow that could not be fully compensated by monetary means alone. The decision to strip Diana of her HRH title reflected the Queen's adherence to traditional protocol, which dictated that individuals who were no longer members of the royal family should not retain royal titles. This move symbolized Diana's transition from being a royal consort to a celebrity figure, admired and revered not only in Britain but around the world. Princess Diana's post-royal life was characterized by her unwavering commitment to humanitarian causes and her relentless pursuit of personal fulfillment beyond the confines of British high society. Despite being cast aside by certain segments of British high society, Diana found solace and purpose in exploring other cultures and connecting with people from diverse backgrounds. Her visits to countries like Pakistan in 1991 and her return shortly before her tragic death were not merely charitable endeavors, but also opportunities for personal growth and cultural immersion. Diana was deeply impressed by the solid family values she encountered in Muslim countries, which resonated with her on a profound level. This admiration for cultural values outside of her own upbringing reflected her openness to embracing new perspectives and experiences. Symbolically shedding her old life, Diana made a bold statement by auctioning off her iconic dresses for charity, including the dress she wore on the night Charles admitted his affair with Camilla. The auction, conducted by Christie's New York, raised a substantial sum of £3.5 million, which she dedicated to charitable causes. This act not only demonstrated her commitment to philanthropy, but also symbolized her transition to a new chapter in her life, marked by independence and self-reinvention. Diana's ability to reinvent her image with remarkable skill was evident in her newfound sense of empowerment and confidence. Despite being a woman navigating life on her own terms, she retained the allure of royalty, coupled with her innate glamour and a charmingly flirtatious demeanor. These qualities endeared her to the American public, who admired her as a powerful and influential figure with celebrity appeal. Diana's affinity for America stemmed from her perception of the country as a place where women wielded significant power and had richer life experiences compared to their European counterparts. In America, women were not confined to traditional roles, but instead were empowered to pursue diverse paths and make meaningful contributions to society. This resonated deeply with Diana, who herself sought to break free from the constraints of traditional royal expectations and carve out her own identity. During her time in the United States, Diana formed close and meaningful friendships with influential figures, further solidifying her connection to the country. One notable individual she met was Henry Kissinger, who recognized her as a princess in her own right and admired her commitment to championing the cause of the marginalized and oppressed. Despite her divorce from Prince Charles and her aspirations to become a roving ambassador, Diana's humanitarian efforts were recognized and celebrated, culminating in her receipt of the Humanitarian of the Year award. This prestigious accolade was a testament to her unwavering dedication to alleviating the suffering of others, regardless of her personal challenges. Diana's remarkable ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from world leaders to everyday individuals, was one of her most enduring qualities. Her genuine empathy and warmth endeared her to countless hearts, transcending social barriers and fostering genuine connections wherever she went. Whether interacting with prime ministers, presidents, or office cleaners, Diana had a rare gift for making everyone she encountered feel valued and understood. In January 1997, Diana embarked on a significant humanitarian mission to Angola, where she aimed to shed light on the devastating impact of landmines. However, her proactive involvement in such global issues did not sit well with certain factions of the British establishment, who criticized her actions as unconventional and unpredictable. Despite facing backlash and being labeled a loose cannon by detractors, Diana remained steadfast in her commitment to addressing pressing global issues. She defended her endeavors by emphasizing the importance of raising awareness about ongoing problems affecting communities worldwide. Amidst her advocacy work and public engagements, Diana navigated the complexities of co-parenting with Prince Charles as they shared custody of their two sons, William and Harry. However, family gatherings and shared occasions became increasingly rare, with William's confirmation ceremony in May 1997 marking the last time the entire family was seen together. As the summer of 1997 approached, Diana found herself confronting feelings of loneliness and isolation in London. Her relationship with Hasnat Khan had ended, leaving her yearning for companionship and new adventures. The prospect of spending an entire month alone at Kensington Palace seemed daunting and isolating for the princess, who longed for connection and excitement. An unexpected invitation from tycoon Mohammed Al Fayed to his lavish holiday home in the south of France presented Diana with an enticing opportunity to escape her solitude. It was there that she crossed paths with Dodi Fayed, the charismatic son of her host, and embarked on a controversial and widely scrutinized romance. Despite Dodi's controversial reputation and rumored drug use, Diana was drawn to his charm, sympathy, and seemingly relaxed approach to their relationship. Unlike previous suitors, Dodi did not exert pressure or rush their connection, which appealed to Diana's desire for a more gradual and organic romance. The couple's idyllic getaway aboard the Fayed yacht, Johnny Carl, was marred by incessant media intrusion, with photographers seemingly tracking their every move, even while they were at sea in the Mediterranean. Speculation swirled about how the press consistently managed to anticipate their whereabouts, fueling rumors that Diana herself may have discreetly tipped off certain journalists, possibly as a means of sending signals to Prince Charles or Hasnat Khan. The tragic events of August 31, 1997, marked the untimely end of Princess Diana's life, culminating in a devastating accident in Paris that shocked the world. The circumstances surrounding her death unfolded in a series of events that underscored the intense media scrutiny and security lapses that plagued her final moments. Following a visit to the Paris home of the late Duke and Duchess of Windsor, now owned by the Fayeds, Diana and Dodi Fayed retreated to the Paris Ritz Hotel, also owned by Dodi's father, for the evening. Security footage from the hotel captured their last hours together, revealing the couple's efforts to evade the relentless paparazzi gathered outside the establishment. In a bid to escape the press, Diana and Dodi devised a plan to depart from the hotel through the back exit, with Henry Paul, the Ritz's head of security, behind the wheel. However, as their vehicle sped through the streets of Paris, tragedy struck in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The car, driven at high speed by Paul, lost control and crashed, resulting in the instantaneous deaths of Dodi and Paul. Diana sustained severe injuries and was rushed to a nearby hospital, where medical efforts to save her proved unsuccessful. The world mourned the loss of the People's Princess, whose life had been marked by a captivating blend of grace, compassion, and unwavering dedication to humanitarian causes. The aftermath of Diana's death prompted scrutiny and speculation, particularly regarding the adequacy of her security detail that fateful night. Many believed that with proper protection from Scotland Yard, the tragic accident could have been prevented. Nevertheless, the reality of Diana's passing reverberated globally, prompting an outpouring of grief and tributes from people around the world. Diana's funeral, a solemn and poignant affair, honored her memory with royal dignity and heartfelt expressions of love and admiration. As her body was brought back to England on a royal plane, draped in a flag, dignitaries and mourners alike paid their respects to the beloved princess. In a stirring eulogy, Diana's brother, Earl Spencer, encapsulated the profound impact of her life and the tragic irony of her fate. His words echoed the sentiments of millions who had been captivated by Diana's grace, charm, and compassionate spirit, underscoring the magnitude of the loss felt by all who had admired her. What do you think about the infamous scandals about Diana and Charles and all the heartbreaking truths about their marriage? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.